Ladies, gentlemen, those as yet undecided and those sticking two fingers up at the whole stupid bloody idea, welcome to Trans in the City. This is just bloody great, isn't it? Just to be back together again. You know, I need to thank three headline sponsors, first of all. Clifford Chance, we're here in their amazing auditorium tonight. Deutsche Bank and Virgin Media O2. We chose this auditorium very consciously because we formed Trans in the City in 2018, and it was formed between four mad people, three people, and me, Brian Ashmead-Sires, Freddie Cormack. Hi Freddie, I know you're watching at home. And Charlie Wheeler. We formed it in 2018 and we ran our first event here in this auditorium. My hair was a lot shorter, it was brown, and it was the first time I'd been out to a public event. I've done a few since then. Trans in the City was formed not to be an entity in itself. Trans in the City was formed to make people collaborate. You know, back in 2018, we saw so many corporates almost running an arms race for trans events. Those people that had role models, those people that were further ahead, were almost screaming ahead, while those that didn't have any of those things were left behind. What we wanted to do with Trans in the City was to get people to work together. We started off with 5 completely mad organisations that decided that they'd trust us with their time and money. So it was Amazon, BP, Clifford Chance, Credit Suisse and PwC. 2019 we had 65 organisations. 2020 we had 220. And this year we have over 360 organisations that are part of Trans in the City, and those organisations are all over the world now. Anybody that knows me knows how absolutely useless I am about self-promotion and social media. And I hate talking about what we've done, and I hate talking about what I've done, but I have it on pain of death from my media team that I now have to do that. So, in a nutshell, in the last 2 years, we've run 140 training courses for different organisations. We've provided seeding money to lots of grassroots organisations. One of them is really worth highlighting, and that's an organisation called Tea and Coffee. Amazing organisation. So an organisation run by Sammy Howard, and we've got Jason Potts here tonight. Sammy can't be with us tonight, unfortunately. So I know you're watching at home, Sammy, so we're all thinking of you and hoping that you heal really quickly, because we really need to give you a hug. We've helped individuals, and we've also raised, to date, a little bit over £250,000 for LGBTQIA charities. We are now truly global. You know, we've talked to the Argentine government this year. We've done events with Alcoa in Brazil that's been live streamed. We've done events and panels on every single continent apart from Antarctica. If the British Antarctic Survey are watching, I would really, really love to get the complete set. But we've done events in Singapore, Australia, India, the Middle East, the USA, all the way across Europe, South America. We're not here to compete. We were never created to compete. We were here to collaborate. We're here to bring everyone's expertise together, to get everybody working with different organisations and different charities, because the way we can make trans awareness better in this country and beyond is by all working together. If we speak with one voice, we become so much stronger, so much louder, and people will hear the truth. They won't hear the rubbish that the BBC spouts. They won't hear the rubbish that the Sunday Times spouts. They won't hear the rubbish that the Times spouts. They won't hear the stuff that the government's doing that's empowering all the hate that we're hearing in this country. What they'll hear is the truth. They'll hear the truth that people support trans people. Organisations support trans people. Trans people are valid. Trans people are flourishing in our society. And that's why this evening is about trans success, because there are so many trans people that are a success, and we've got so many in this room tonight. You know, I wish I could show you the view that I've got, because it is the most wonderful view in the world. I'm going to talk about the future of trans in the city in a little bit, but right now we're going to hear from our headline sponsors. I'm so privileged to announce somebody who epitomises trans success, and that is from Clifford Chance, Tate Smith.
Thank you very much, Bobby. I'm Tate Smith. My pronouns are he, him. I'm an openly gay transgender man, and I work here at Clifford Chance as a program support officer. I joined the firm in July 2019. I was only 3 months on testosterone, so I was just a baby to my transition and the firm. And I was lucky enough to help with the drafting of our trans policy, which we had set up in 2016. And I did that in the November that I joined, and I was able to input into dress code, bathrooms, and to support our managers of trans employees. In 2019, the firm first introduced its gender reassignment surgery as part of its policy with our medical healthcare provider. We were one of the first law firms to do so, and as you can imagine, we're really, really proud of this. And I then decided to undergo top surgery last August, but our policy did not cover it. So I spoke with HR and our benefits team, and I made the case that for a lot of trans men, actually bottom surgery is not the first thing that we want top surgery is, because that's the thing that's going to be most visible at work. I was wearing jumpers over my white shirts, trying to hide my binder, and I didn't want to hide myself anymore. So the HR and benefits team kindly took my feedback on and joined up with the D&I team, and we made sure to get this done for our next annual review of our benefits. And in August 2020, I underwent top surgery. I've since recovered very well. My scars have healed very nicely. And I was really proud to be the first person to have top surgery under this policy. Top surgery for me was much more than getting rid of a huge weight off my shoulder. It was a massive confidence boost, because I can't tell you how hard it was just to walk around the office and be hiding myself, and even my posture was completely different. I was scared that I was going to be caught in the men's bathroom, and having this just increased my confidence and allowed me to get on with my transition and just live as Tate here at Clifford Chance. For those of you who may not be aware, NHS waiting list is crazy now. It's 5 years. I've been on the list for 3 years now, and I still haven't been seen. And in that time, I've transitioned privately, and there would be no point in me being seen now. And the waiting list for surgery is even longer because once you have your first appointment, you have had to be on hormones for at least 6 months. So it can be up to 5 or 6 years before you get your all-important surgery. Having this policy at your organisation cuts that to a year or less. This is a lifeline for trans people. And by having this policy at your organisation, you're sending a clear message that you not only care about your trans employees, but you're celebrated and you're validated here. And that is incredibly important. You know, returning after to the office was incredible, and I couldn't have done it without this policy change and my firm behind me. And one of my colleagues actually noticed that my posture was a lot different because I was standing in confidence. And I know why it was the confidence, because I was seeing the man that I always knew that I was staring back at me in the mirror. So I'd really encourage every organisation who are in this room tonight to really think about your policy and including top surgery, and if not, why haven't you included this yet? Because my story is just one of many, one of thousands, and you've really got the opportunity to make the impact and show your trans employees that you care, and change your life as well as this policy did for me. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing man. I've known Tate now for I think you came to the first Trans in the City, and you know that healthcare gives trans people a life. It's so important for organisations to help people in that way. We've got another amazing speaker. I'm so privileged to announce our next speaker, Tina Lee, CEO of Deutsche Bank UK and Ireland.
So, good evening, and thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Tate, for those it was incredibly moving listening to your story. It's really amazing. So, good evening, everyone. So, first of all, Bobby, I mean, well done on organising just such an incredible event. So I think just well done to everyone. So it is so great to see so many of you here this evening, and I'm really proud that Deutsche Bank is sponsoring this event and supporting Trans in the City and Stonewall Housing. And the fact that we're gathered here this evening and we're able to celebrate the success of trans people and their allies shows that good progress is being made. Although, of course, we know there's clearly a lot more that we need to do. Diversity, inclusion, acceptance and belonging are the bedrock of any modern civilized society. And whether it's the changing role of women in the workplace, the surge of emotion and desire for action spurred on by Black Lives Matter, or indeed supporting our trans colleagues, society does not stand still, and we want to be part of that change. And as a major global employer, Deutsche Bank has an important responsibility to not only role model, but also advocate and lobby externally for progress. So across the bank, we are passionate about equality, and the work we've done over the last few years demonstrates our commitment. From hosting the first Transgender Economic Empowerment Forum with the New York City Mayor's Office, to publicly taking a stand against the North Carolina bathroom bill, to having an audience at the Vatican against the criminalization of same-sex acts. It's not all big-ticket stuff, though. We removed the Dorchester Hotel Group from our preferred supplier list in response to brutal anti-LGBT laws in Brunei. We donated hygiene and sanitation kits to the transgender community in Mumbai and Delhi to help protect them against COVID. And we also joined a number of other companies opposing Florida state legislation banning trans children from school sports. And here in London, our partnership with Diversity Role Models is in its 4th year, as part of our Born to be Proud programme. Educating young people about difference, challenging stereotypes and addressing the misuse of language is key and helps foster tangible change. And this year, DB Role Models in London spoke to over 1,000 senior school students and about 330 teaching staff. But culture, as I only well know, is set from the top of the house. And our continued focus on diversity, acceptance and inclusion is a core part of our strategy, not just something tacked on the side. And the activities of DB Pride and our other employee networks demonstrate what mere words cannot. They show us the way. And at Deutsche Bank, we've been on our own journey. This isn't something that has happened overnight. It's been an evolution and a partnership between our diversity and inclusion teams, HR, legal, and most importantly, our employee resource groups to help educate us and make sure we have the right policies and procedures in place for all our people. So earlier this evening, I was talking to Eloise, who is co-chair of our DB Pride network, who is here somewhere. Hi, Eloise. And Eloise has been working at Deutsche Bank since the late 1990s. And she told me that she came out as trans in 2015. And at that time, she was terrified about losing her job because of the impact it would have on her family and her children. Let me repeat, she was terrified she would lose her job. And to such an extent that when she first contacted HR, she did so on behalf of one of her team in order to protect herself and to find out how the bank would react. Her fear was that there would be a lack of support and understanding. And that situation is not unique to Eloise, not unique to Deutsche Bank, and not unique to the finance industry. But Eloise told me that the support that she received from key allies in HR, D&I, and from her own department was crucial. It was a learning curve for everybody involved, but by working together and everyone upholding the bank's core values and beliefs, she had a successful transition. So I'm very pleased and relieved to be able to say that Eloise's fear of a lack of support and understanding did not match the reality, and she remains a valued, accepted, and respected member of our team. So I also hope this evening you will, if you haven't seen, there is also a video which we contributed to about Jill. And I know that Jill is also here in the audience. Jill, hey Jill. So Jill joined our bank actually, first of all, as a summer intern, but actually joined our bank as a graduate in 2020. And he shows just how far I think we have come, because internally, for our trans community, we do try and be as supportive as we can. And even more positively, Jill's perception of our bank did match today's reality. So I'd really like to thank Jill. Thank you so much for doing the video. We really appreciate it. You're a visible role model around the bank, and I think we all need more visible role models, both at Deutsche Bank and elsewhere. I should stress, though, that we are still learning, but we've learnt a lot. We know that policies and procedures will only take us so far. Each of us can and must make a difference. There's strength in numbers. And as I look around this room, I remain confident that the world will continue to become a better place through our combined efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tina, not just for your words, but your direction and your leadership within Deutsche Bank. People that don't like us would have us think that the world is completely against us and the world is a bleak place for trans people, especially in employment. But as we've heard, it's not. The place for trans people within big corporates is a place of hope. And that's something that we want to build and take forward. Our next speaker is the Director of Organisational Development and Virgin Media O2's proudly executive sponsor. Can I invite to the stage Mr. Dean Bonus? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. what an awesome way to start Trans Awareness Week. I've definitely had worse Monday nights as well, so thank you very much, Bobby, for including us, inviting us. I'm Dean, pronouns he, him, and as Bobby said, I'm one of the co-sponsors of the Proudly network at Virgin Media O2. And I proudly stand here as our sponsor, pun intended, and we're really pleased to be here, and thank you so much for allowing us to come and contribute and collaborate with everyone here. I'll talk to you a little bit about the journey that we've been on at Virgin Media O2, and then I leave you with an ask and what we'd like to do with this group going forward. So we are about 150 days old as Virgin Media O2. We joined the two businesses together in the summer, and it's been a pretty hectic couple of months, as you can imagine. And we've delivered a whole number of big things and have lots of big announcements in the press about some of the things we're doing in society and contributing to the UK economy. But we're really, really proud and really passionate about our D&I programme. And it's one of the things that's helped us really unite two big workforces. So we have 18,000 people that we have brought together into this combined business. And within the first 120 days, one of the first things we've managed to achieve as a combined business is to reset our D&I agenda. And we've come up with a new strategy, new executive sponsorship, a whole set of new targets, and all the kind of usual stuff. But it's really helped bind the two businesses together and give us a new sense of purpose and as a new business. We've called it All In. We haven't gone public with All In just yet, and Nisha's here, our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, and she's done, with the team here, done an amazing job, but we'll be talking a little bit more externally about that pretty soon. But I'll share with you some of the stuff that we have done so far, and it's very much a journey, and I would say one of the things we're very passionate about, one of our learnings so far, is Equity Sequence, and Equity Sequence is a tool for anyone that hasn't come across this, a set of a framework, a set of questions that helps us challenge everything we do in the organisation to make sure we're being as inclusive and as equitable as possible. And we use it from everything from creating a new product to changing a policy within the organisation. And it's really helped us think differently about how we approach diversity and inclusion, even down to how we serve price rises to our customers. So if you are one of our 30 million customers, we apologise for the price rises that you receive from us, normally twice a year sometimes. But we're actually changing that based on some of the way we approach D&I now. There's a whole load of stuff that the Proudly team are doing, and I think we're a little bit like Rent-A-Crowd today. So I think there's about 15 of us, and we're generally congregating towards the back. And these guys have made a real impact and a real difference in the both former Virgin and former O2 business that we have brought together. Now, I'll give you a kind of flavour of just some of the stuff they're doing and some of the stuff that we've ticked off and some of the stuff that's still an ambition for us. But they have created a network of over 1,000 people within our Proudly group. So they're a powerful, loud, noisy group. They're providing lots of coaching and role modelling and reverse mentorship to the organisation. They also really know how to throw a party too, so particularly if you need any advice on that, I would definitely recommend that group. But for some of the activity they've pulled off so far, we have managed to put pronoun name badges into all of our retail stores. So 2,000 retail staff and 450 stores, something we've delivered in the last few months, and we're working on changing all of our employee kind of name badges over. We have a transitioning guideline and support program for our employees. It came from the former O2 business, and we're currently refreshing that and bringing that across the whole combined business. We're actually changing our billing platform, not something you would expect somebody to talk about at a D&I event, but it's one of those unsexy things telcos have to do, and it's a big IT project. But actually, the Proudly team are right in that big IT monolithic project to change the to create the ability that we can have the MX suffix, so we can so our customers, and there's over 40 million customers, can have a gender neutral suffix on their account. And we're working to give people the ability to have both a preferred name and legal name as an account with us too. Our pay gap report, we have a non-binary section now. We're just working through legally how we can disclose some of the information because some of the numbers are pretty small, but we're made a start. And some of the just more functional stuff, we have introduced some gender-neutral toilets. We have hundreds of offices. We have it in one office so far, but it is a start. We're on a journey. And I'm really inspired by the story we heard earlier. So we are working to try and include trans healthcare in our private healthcare that we offer to all 18,000 employees. So that's something that's very much on our to-do list and part of our ambition. But we're very much on a journey, and our ask to everyone here is we would love to be inspired and challenged and collaborate with everyone that's in the room. So we have the resources available at Virgin Media O2 and the network and everybody here at your disposal. So we'd love to work with you this evening and make some new connections. And next year, when we're 1 year old, and we should hopefully have some new stories and some new successes, and hopefully we have changed our healthcare policy by that point too. So it's a pleasure. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll hand back to Bobby. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Dean. We tonight are running this event in aid of Stonewall Housing, and thanks to 3 headline sponsors and the other sponsors that have come on board to help us this evening, we've raised, I think it's £34,000 for Stonewall Housing this evening. Before I hand over to the amazing people at Stonewall Housing, and Stonewall Housing actually is a charity very close to my heart, because I found myself for 7 months last year without a home, and in my privileged position that was hard enough. The people that Stonewall Housing help don't have anywhere near the privilege I have. Before I introduce the amazing people at Stonewall Housing, I want to talk very quickly about their namesake, Stonewall. Stonewall, as you may know, were the charity that were formed to repeal Section 28, and they did that. They worked on getting same-sex marriage, and they did that. They worked on trans rights, and they did that. They work to get refugees that are LGBTQIA from Afghanistan with the Rainbow Railroad, and they did that too. They work every single day of their lives helping LGBTQIA people. The attacks on Stonewall that we're seeing constantly are disgusting. I just want to really very publicly say that Trans in the City and I stand with Stonewall, and we will always stand with Stonewall. But enough about them. I'm going to hand you over now to 2 fabulous people from a wonderful charity, Stonewall Housing, not related. I think they're going to have some argument about who was formed first. But I'm going to hand you over to 2 amazing people from that charity to tell you more about Stonewall Housing's work. Steve McIntyre, CEO of Stonewall Housing, and the amazingly named Octavian Star. If he's not a rock star, why the hell isn't he? Senior supported housing worker. Over to you 2 guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby, and not just for the introduction, but I want to say a massive thank you for inviting us here tonight. It's so wonderful to see so many queer people all in one place in the real world, and I'm just delighted to be here, so thank you very much. We are Stonewall Housing. Hi, Nancy. And we're really proud to share our name with Stonewall. In case there's any doubt, we stand with Stonewall, and we always have, and we always will. So thank you very much. So look, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we do and introduce you to Stonewall Housing if you haven't heard of us before. And then I'm going to hand over to Octavian, who's going to tell you a little bit of the detail. One of the challenges of coming to an event that's talking about trans success, when you're an organisation that works with trans people and other LGBTQ+ people, usually when they're at their lowest ebb, is that we are going to talk a bit tonight about some of the challenges that LGBTQ plus people face. One of the reasons why I'm so proud that Bobby is one of our champions at Stonewall Housing is because she has lived experience in the same thing that our service users have experienced. And we are able to show them who Bobby is, and we're able to say to them, look, just because you've had a difficult and challenging past does not mean you're going to have a difficult and challenging future. In fact, you can do anything that you want to do. So thank you so much, Bobby. And I just want to add my thanks to all of the sponsors as well here tonight. By sponsoring events like this, you really do make a difference for people, LGBTQ plus people in the community. So yeah, so we work with we were founded in 1983. I'm not sure when Stonewall was founded. We could discuss it later. We were set up by queer people who saw people come into London and they were homeless. They said, look, that's not good enough. We need to find them somewhere to go, and that's what they did. And here we are almost 40 years later, and we're still working with LGBTQ plus people, often who come out to their families, and immediately their families kick them out of home, and they've nowhere to go. And so we find them somewhere safe to live. That's it, really. We find people somewhere safe to live. I want to hand you over to Octavian, who's going to talk to you a little bit about how we do that, and then Octavian will hand back to me, and I'll wrap up.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Stephen. I have notes. Sorry. I've given a very, very small time period, so I have to have notes or I will ramble. Anyone that knows me knows that's true. So, hi, everyone. My name is Octavian Starr, and I'm the Senior Supported Housing Officer at Stonewall Housing. I've been working at Stonewall Housing for almost 11 years, which is a lot. And it's been an absolutely transformative experience for me as a person, as a trans person, and just as a person in general. Stonewall Housing has gone under a lot of changes in that time, but the one thing that's never changed is the support that we give to our people that we help. In this supported housing, we specifically help 16 to 25-year-olds. So that is a very challenging time to be alive anyway. You know, that's the formative times of our lives, and it's really difficult. And I think anyone who is LGBTQ plus in any way, you know, growing up is extra challenging anyway. You know, and if you add other intersections on top of that, you know, about 90% of our service users, between 80 and 90%, depending, moves around, are BME. So if you're adding race on top of that, culture on top of that, all the intersections on top of that, it becomes more difficult. And of course, you know, I have to talk about the difficult bits a bit because, you know, that's how you really understand why we're here and what we do, is that, you know, our young people usually leave home, like Stephen said, immediately. You know, we'll get calls from people on the advice line, which helps anybody of any age nationally now, which is really great. And, you know, they go through a process of finding out what's going to be the safest option for that person. Our housing is not immediate, so often people do have to wait. We only have 31 bed spaces, and those are funded by 4 London boroughs, which means we can only take referrals from those 4 boroughs. We have a few bed spaces, literally 3, that we can take referrals from other boroughs. So if you're thinking about, you know, 25% of young LGBT homeless people are 25% of young homeless people are LGBT plus, and we have 31 bed spaces. Of course, there is Albert Kennedy Trust, not Albert Kennedy Trust, Albert Kennedy Trust, AKT. Sorry, it's a little warm in here. You know, they do very similar work to us, but we, even with that, the capacity for helping people and having actual bed spaces to put actual people in is very small. And when you look at, you know, I'm talking under 50 bed spaces for 25% of a homeless population. I have 1 minute. So the really important thing that I want to say is that, you know, our young people flourish in these situations because they're able to be themselves. You know, being safe in your accommodation and being seen for who you are from day one and having a home that's safe. Look, hostels aren't perfect, but at least it's safe. Sometimes it's you are in a building where people aren't going to mess up your pronouns. People are going to celebrate you for being trans. And right now, 75% of our service users are trans young people under the age of 22, actually. They're getting younger and younger. It's amazing for me to see them really thrive, And I told some of them that I was coming to this event, and I was in this big bank in Canary Wharf, and they're like, really? They care about us? But they don't know that. So the more that you do, the more that your organizations do, the more outside and the more you partner with organizations like us and whoever it is, the more you work with trans in the city, the more opportunities that you give to people, the more things that you do to create, internships for young people who may not have finished education, the more that you do for those things and for trans people, the more those young people will say that they have the ability to be just like you. That they will be able to get a job at a big bank, that they will be able to be in one of these rooms, that they will get to host one of these events one day. But right now, a lot of them don't see that. I'm starting at the very ground, building confidence. So I thank all of you for being here, because even me sharing that this event happens really goes a long way. So thank you all so much for being here, and do come talk to us later.
Sorry, Bobby. The last thing I want to say is a huge thank you to Octavian and the rest of the people that work at Stonewall Housing. We've got 24 staff now. All of them are dedicated to making sure that LGBTQ plus people get the support that they need. So Octavian, thank you for all your hard work. And on behalf of me and everyone else, thank the rest of the team as well. Thank you so, so much. Thanks, everybody.
Such an amazing charity, honestly. It's absolutely an utter privilege to be one of their champions. So, you've heard what Trans in the City has been and what it is. It's time, I guess, to tell you what our future is going to be and what our plans are going to be. Up to now, Trans in the City has very much been the Bobby Pickard show. And it was never meant to be. It was always supposed to be a collaboration. It was always supposed to be an equal sharing of knowledge and the limelight. You can have the limelight, honestly. I really don't like the limelight. But to that end, we are formalising Trans in the City. I have an amazing team of people that have been mad enough to come on board in official capacity with me now. And I'm so, so proud to be able to announce those people to you now. So I will be carrying on with Trans in the City. Madly, which seems really strange, I'm going to be the CEO of the organisation. I have an amazing person that's going to be my Chief Operating Officer, and knowing him, he's probably going to be hiding some. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't actually see very much. Simon Hodgkinson is going to be the Chief Operating Officer. Simon has a raft of experience in senior management in corporates, and he was also actually my first boss when I joined the trading arm of BP back in the 2000s, and I can tell you he's perfect for the role because he scares the hell out of me when he's angry. I have, I think, the beginnings of a dream team. People with so much experience in so many different fields that are going to bring so much value and so much depth of knowledge to Trans in the City. So I'm going to read through their names. I won't go into loads of detail because there's lots of wine outside that we need to get to, which is really, really important, I think. And there's a few other bits and pieces that we need to do. First of all, we have the amazing Sarah Maslin. Sarah brings so much experience from the charity sector, the education sector, from partners and families of trans people. We have Georgie Court, who works here in Clifford Chance and has been part of Trans in the City from the start, and is such an amazing person to have on board. We have Avril Clark, who many people will know from Trans Radio UK, again with so much experience around families and partners, and has been the director of Distinction, which is, I believe, one of the country's only organisations for partners of trans people. We have Emily Hamilton, an amazing senior executive from Electro Components. We have Madeline Taylor, who's up at the back waving at me from the video conferencing there, who brings so much experience on social media and actually designed a new logo, which is really fantastic and was really amazing to see all over the stock exchange this afternoon when we closed it. We have Charlie Wheeler, one of the founders, is still with us, still mad enough to work with me, and he'll be working on social media. We've got Polly Shute, who I'm sure loads of people will know. Polly's going to be our events director, and she brings a wealth of experience from so many things, not least London Pride and LGBTQ. We have Louise Bailey from OVO Energy, who also runs Inter Energy. We have Alison Lomax from Google, who brings so much, she's waving from me from the video suite as well, brings so much media and organisational experience. We have Kim Warren, a self-proclaimed email gremlin. Kim has been with me, working with me at BP and at other organisations for, I think, 5 years now. And it's so fabulous to have them on board. They are an utter powerhouse. And last but not least, we have Jess Bihari, who is going to be media director, and she brings so much experience from TV. We will be expanding and announcing more. We have 2 streams that are a priority for us to get up and running, and they are for trans people of colour and Indigenous trans people, and also for trans people with ability challenges. We'll be announcing in the new year how people, individuals, can get involved with Trans in the City. Up to now, we've been very much an organisation for corporates, and you haven't been able to join really as an individual unless you want to get on board with the Bobby Pickard show. Going forward, you'll be able to volunteer. You'll be able to come on board as a director. We want to get to the stage where we're expanding our activities around training and consultancy, in providing speakers, in giving trans people voices in business. But we're not going to do it in competition with everybody else, because that's not what Trans in the City is. Trans in the City is a collaboration. We'll be here to open the door. So we'll be here to open the door for trans people to corporates. We'll be here to open the door for corporates to talk to the amazing trans, non-binary and gender non-conforming people, not just in business, but in grassroots communities and charities. What we'll be doing is linking with charities, with corporates, with grassroots organisations to provide that collaboration, to provide those contacts, to provide the one voice that gender, non-conforming, non-binary and trans people need to really drive trans awareness forward. And we'll be driving trans awareness forward in business, because in business we can have sensible conversations without the noise and the rubbish and the rhetoric and the hate that we get the minute we go outside a business environment. You know, As I mentioned earlier, we've raised £250,000 for charity in the last couple of years or so. We've taken nothing of that. Trans in the City is the least financially successful organisation that I know. I aim for Trans in the City to be the least financially successful organisation that I know. We will be an entity, but we will not take money. We will still funnel the money that we have from all of our activities into those grassroots organisations, into charities, because we can make a difference, and we have made a difference. And that is the most important thing to me and all of my directors. Our aim is to make Trans in the City redundant. I would love to stand here in a year's time, or 5 years' time, or 10 years' time. 10 years' time I might be in the Caribbean. But I'd love to stand here and say, welcome to the last Trans in the City, because we're not needed. But right now we are needed. And we're going to carry on educating, demonstrating, and celebrating trans people in business and around the UK and around the world. One thing that's really, really special to me, and something that actually, we only decided to run this in the face of the plague about six weeks ago. So you can imagine what a mad dash it's been. And I'd absolutely love to thank all of my directors that have done so much work over the last 6 weeks to pull this together, not just here for us tonight, but the live stream, Jack Shoot Productions as well have done such an amazing job doing the live stream, and I'd really like to thank them for doing that. One thing that we wanted to do, and I've wanted to do actually since the start of Trans in the City, is some awards. There's loads of awards around the place, and we had to think long and hard, actually, do we want to have another award ceremony? But actually, I think it's so important, actually, to have some awards for trans people and their allies from trans people and their allies. So, how exciting. We have some Trans in the City awards. So, we have 3 awards this evening. We have the Clifford Chance Corporate Trans Champion Award. We have the Virgin Media O2 Community Trans Champion Award. And we have the Deutsche Bank Trans Ally Award. So the first award that we're going to talk about is the Clifford Chance Corporate Trans Champion Award. Hopefully, in a second, we should be able to see all of the people that were nominated out of a huge list of people that came through to us. We have 3 amazing shortlisted people that are up for the Clifford Chance Corporate Trans Champion Award. And those people are Sophie Parker from Virgin Media O2. We have Naomi Reid from NBC Universal. And we have Elizabeth Remington from Barclays. Here to tell you who the winner of the 2021 Trans in the City Clifford Chance Corporate Trans Champion Award is Narind Singh from Clifford Chance.
Cool. Oh, well. Nice to see everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to see so many people out there, so many friends, and such a lovely event. Thanks very much to the people who organised it. The Trans Corporate Champion Award recognises individuals within institutions, trans individuals who've been making a massive impact for trans acceptance and trans inclusion in the workplace. The corporate champions are important because having visible role models and people who are proud and courageous enough to stand up there and talk about things like top surgery, Tate and bottom surgery with people like me who'd never really heard of those words before, and I must admit was taken aback when you first mentioned them, but then actually having that conversation was so important to my and other people's understandings. It was a really courageous thing to do, so thank you, Tate. You have the listed nominees there, and the winner is Naomi Reid.
So, thank you so much. This is definitely a surprise. I think one of the first things to kind of say is when you put yourself out there and put your head above the parapet, like most people in this room, you're not doing it for something like this. You're doing it to be an example to people when you look back at yourself maybe 5 years ago and you think, I never thought this could even be possible. And that's kind of why you do the things you do and try and be that positive role model. So, yeah, I'm not really used to the limelight, really, and don't really like it, but... Thank you, everyone.
Naomi Reid. The Community Trans Champion Award, sponsored by Virgin Media O2, is something very, very close to my heart. There's so many people, trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, in the UK that do so much good work, so much amazing work, help so many people in the UK and get no recognition at all. We have a list of some of the people here, and some of the people on that list is probably a surprise to them, but they're in the room this evening. I'd just like you actually to give all of those people a massive round of applause. This was such a hard list to get down to a short list. I'd give every single one of those people and probably about another 30 more an award if I could do. Our short list of people was Sammy Howard from Tea and Coffee. Michelle Snow, who does so much work with What the Trans, among so much other stuff. And someone that's honestly such an inspiration to me, Emily Williams, who's down at the front, 12-year-old. You would have seen Emily Williams as part of the If I Had a Voice video that Mermaids did. An amazing, amazing piece of work from Mermaids. And an amazing trans role model. Here to present the Virgin Media O2 Trans in the City 2021 Community Trans Champion Award from Virgin Media O2 is Cormac Connolly.
Good evening, everybody. What a wonderful way to spend a Monday evening among such a colourful, talented and special group of people. I feel very privileged to be here on behalf of Virgin Media 2. I would say somewhat moved as well that this is such an amazing occasion in the heart of the city, in this amazing building with the wonderful colours on the roof of the building tonight. And here we are coming together to celebrate diversity in all its colour and wonderful, special people that you are and all of what you do in your daily lives, in your work, in your families, and people who are in this award tonight in their communities. Community effort is often the area that people get involved in and take initiative. They don't necessarily have any resources. They don't have a starting point or a finishing point, but they say there's something that I care about and I want to take action and make a difference. And it's very hard when you've got an award to choose anybody. And you have to. I was watching RuPaul Drag Race last night on catch up, and I was like, no, don't send anybody home, they're all fabulous. But of course that doesn't happen, you know. So before I do sashay away, not bad for an Irish person. I'm delighted to announce the winner at a time where work in the media is so important about truth and honesty and allowing the trans community talk honestly and openly and have a medium in the media space to work with the trans community. I'm delighted that Michelle Snow is our winner. You don't get to sash away yet.
Well, the imposter syndrome's real. Okay. Emily, you were robbed. I'm just saying that right now. So I want to thank Ashley Talbot, who I make everything with. This is just as much hers as mine. I want to thank Vic for sitting in the pub with me the other night, helping me work out what the hell I would say if this did happen. Diana, thanks for tweeting Bobby that thing, which is probably why I'm here. Like, trans people know what I'm going to say to them because I say it to them all the time. You're great. Cis people who are in the corporate world who do things, you've probably got some phone numbers in your phone of some very powerful people. Right now, there is a movement against trans people in the UK that is being spearheaded by groups like the LGBT Alliance, Transgender Trend, and so many others. They are getting meetings with ministers and MPs right now. What I'm calling on you to do now is pick up the phone and call those contacts that I know you have. Some of you are going to know ministers. Some of you are going to know other business leaders. Some of you are going to know MPs. Give them a call. Tell them this is an emergency. Trans people are in trouble and we need your help. Thanks for this, Bobby. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Michelle. The final award this evening, again, is a very special one for me because, like many trans people, sometimes the only people that have got me through on a day-to-day basis are allies. You know, there's some allies that have saved my career. There's some allies that have given me somewhere to sleep. There's some allies that have given me a hug when I needed a hug. So this next award, the Deutsche Bank Trans in the City Trans Ally Award, is a very special one for me. And again, we had some amazing nominees, and we got those nominees down to these people on the screen, and then we thrashed around for ages, like all of the other awards, to get to a short list of 3. Those short list people are Lady Phil, Lady Phil, of course, works at the Kaleidoscope Trust and also UK Black Pride. Our second shortlister was Nancy Kelly from Stonewall. And our final person on the shortlist is somebody that lots of people might not have heard of, because she tries to keep things under a blanket of secrecy almost as much as I do. And that's Linda Riley from Viva magazine. Here to announce the winner of the 2021 Trans in the City Deutsche Bank Trans Ally Award is the amazing Tina Lee.
So hello everyone again. Well, what an amazing series of awards. I think in terms of allyship, it's one of those things which I think is incredibly important to all our networks, and I think particularly our DB Pride network. There was something which Jill had mentioned the other day around the importance of allies to be visible about allies, and the need to be clear and open and communicate if you are indeed an ally, because no one can read your mind, believe it or not. So that's something which I have taken on board in terms of intending on being specific about my pronouns, around wearing a pin, really simple things that mean that people within our organisation know that there are people there to support them, whatever it is that they wish to, tell us. So of the list, of the short list that we have, and again, when I was sort of looking at the individuals and everything they've done, I mean, it's so inspiring. It's really, really hard, isn't it, to choose? It's really hard. But of the nominees, I can now announce the winner. It's like the Oscars, isn't it? And the winner is Linda Riley.
Well, I don't know, so I'm very, very humbled and delighted to receive this, but obviously I do hope there's a day that this is not needed, and we are working together as an LGBTQI community. I just want to say I'm the publisher of Diva magazine. It's a magazine for LGBTQI women and the non-binary community. I do feel, as the publisher, I have a platform, I have a duty, and I have a personal want to speak out. Many people, you may have seen my social media presence, they do try to silence me, but there's no way I'm going to let them, and and I'd just like to say, next month, Diva magazine, it's our 300th issue. We are so proud to be allies to the trans community, and not to forget many of our readers, trans women who are also lesbians. So when people say to me on Twitter that you are selling out lesbians, I say you're forgetting many of our readers are lesbians who are trans women, and we need to really repeat that, and with people start listening. I'd just like to amplify earlier, some of you may have seen me at the European Diversity Awards last week. Bobby was a well-worthy winner, just to say. Congratulations on all you do, but what I would like to say is, I've grown up, I'm going to say this very quickly, I've grown up in the 80s, the 70s, being a lesbian. I've gone through personally times where I've come out of bathrooms, of toilets, I should say, where, women have gone off to get their boyfriends to protect them, and there is no way I'm going to stand back and hear the same stuff said about me 30 years ago, said about trans women, which is one of the many reasons I speak out. Thank you.
So, there are amazing award winners, and I'd really love to congratulate all of our shortlisters and our award winners. Truly, truly, you are all amazing. Thank you so much. So, that's it for this year. But we will be back next year. We will be back bigger, and we will be back louder. And we're not going away between now and then. We are here in the amazing offices at Clifford Chance until 9 o'clock, and we have drinks outside for everybody. Last orders are 8:40, and we have to be out by 9. But we will be going over to the bar in the centre of the square, 640 East, for the after party. For those of you at home, you can drink as long as you like. Thank you so much, because it's all of you that make Trans in the City. And I can see Georgie out the corner of my eye.
To be honest. So yeah, just really quickly before we end, I think on behalf of all of the directors at Trans in the City, we just wanted to say a massive thank you to you for everything that you do, for the organisation, for everyone in this room, for trans and non-binary people across the UK and even, as you said today, worldwide. And I'm so proud of you, and yeah, thank you for all the love and the energy, and you deserve this and the world more.
If I wasn't wearing about 3 inches of foundation, you'd see how red I was at the moment. Should we go and have a drink? Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you.